Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Want to talk about Donald Trump being the Grand Marshal for the 62nd Daytona 500, which is taking place today, Sunday, February 16th, 2020. Yesterday, the smaller event, the Daytona XFinity Series, there was a car, number 47, that drove with the Trump-Pence 2020 campaign slogan on the car. And today at the Daytona 500, there was supposed to be a car with the same Trump-Pence 2020 artwork, but that car didn't make it to the track. Supposedly, the vehicle hauling it to Daytona crashed in Tennessee. So I think what we have here is a riddle that again connects sports and the presidency. And just before we get into this, I want to remind, back in the season of the NFL that concluded with Super Bowl 52, Donald Trump took on the NFL flag protesters on Saturday, September 23rd, the day before the Week 3 Sunday games were played. And I pointed out then, the date September 23rd could be written 23/9 like 239. And the U.S. flag was sewn at 239 Arch Street in Philadelphia. And I pointed out that 239 was the 52nd prime number, and it was the year of Super Bowl 52. And I said then the Super Bowl would be the Patriots with the flag on their helmet versus Philadelphia, the home of the flag, in a rematch of 13 years earlier. Super Bowl 39 was Patriots-Eagles, so was Super Bowl 52. Of course, there's 13 stripes on the flag. Philadelphia won that year, scoring 41 points. Super Bowl equals 41 in Gematria, so does USA. 41's the 13th prime number. Perfect rituals. This past MLB season, we pointed out before the postseason began that it would be Nationals over Astros in Game 7 synced up with Donald Trump's birthday. Nationals equals 138, Donald Trump equals 138. His new slogan for 2020, Keep America Great, equals 138. The World Series, Game 7, concluded 138 days after Trump's birthday. That same day that the Nationals won the World Series, Nancy Pelosi brought out the impeachment to the public. And the impeachment ended up being synced up with Super Bowl 54. Super Bowl 54 is between San Francisco, Nancy Pelosi's home city, versus the Kansas City Commander-in-Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, who went to White House High School in White House, Texas. The Super Bowl was 138 days after Trump's birthday. Or not Trump's, 138 days after Patrick Mahomes' birthday. And again, Donald Trump equals 138. So, sports, politics, it's all connected. And who's running the show? The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry, which all the American sports are credited to, which has its headquarters in Washington, D.C. Of course, George Washington, what the city's named after, was a Scottish Rite Freemason. So let's look at what they've done with this Daytona weekend and how many tributes it pays to the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. It's overwhelming. Plus, we're going to look carefully at how the car that was supposed to represent Trump and Pence went off the road in Tennessee. I have a feeling that that's a made-up story, but part of a planned coming political narrative. The Tennessee primary isn't too far away. It's March 3rd, 3-3. So all eyes on the Tennessee primary. And now let's go through this. So this will be the 62nd event. Keep in mind the word vote equals 62, as does the word Mason. And the man who raced yesterday, it's been reported in multiple sources that he was going to drive the number 74 car, but he actually drove the number 47 car. And if you're familiar with my work, I have the What is 47 campaign. I don't know if you can see that license plate in the background, but that's what it says. What is 47? Again, huge number with the federal government with this code. But Joe Nemechek raced yesterday, Saturday, at the XFinity Series. He finished 15th in the 47 car. 47 is the 15th prime number. And then again, the car that was supposed to race today with Tim Viens, it's not racing because it went off the track or the road. So, and again, race, political race, NASCAR race, parallels here. So with regards to Daytona Beach, where the race is, it equals 45, like how Trump is number 45. There's been so many rituals with Trump and 45 over the years. It's hard to keep track of them all. It started with him being announced the 45th president-elect early November 9th, the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall. Berlin Wall 45, Mike Pence 45. Just the other day, 45 date numerology, pro-life equals 45. He became the first president to attend the pro-life March for Life rally. That was the 47th edition of the March for Life rally. The main event where he's the Grand Marshal. By the way, Grand Marshal equals 73. Trump's 73 years old right now. He's going to turn 74 June 14th, the flag's birthday. Anyhow, Daytona 500 equals 88. Trump with the alphabetic order is 88. We've covered so many riddles with Trump in 88 since he began running in 2015. And with the reverse alphabetic order, Trump is 47. Like how yesterday the 47 car represented Trump. We'll get to how Tennessee equals 47, where the other Trump car went off the road. So Trump 88, 47. Multiple articles misprinted that it would be the 74 car representing Trump yesterday. Again, it was the reflection, 47. But just remember, Masonic, Jewish, occult, English, Gematria, they all sum to 74. Gematria is the practice of coding numbers into words. It comes from Jewish mysticism, which is Kabbalah. Masonry is based in Kabbalah. Masonry studies occult knowledge. Occult means hidden. And again, biggest secret about the English language is this code of letters and numbers. Now, yesterday's race was sponsored by Comcast, and their cable is called the XFinity Series. Comcast is 74. Again, all these ciphers are just using the alphabetic order. If you use the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, XFinity Series is 74. Numerology just means making numbers that are more than one digit, compressing them to a single digit. Like, so for example, X is the 24th letter. The numerology of 24 is 2 plus 4 is 6. So X is 6. F is the 6th letter. I is the 9th. N is the 14th. The numerology of 14 is 1 plus 4 is 5. So you just make each letter a single digit number. Then you add the word. XFinity Series, 74 like Comcast. Not sure that all these news sources really misprinted number 74. I think it was just more of the tribute. Again, we'll get to how George Washington equals 74. What the nation's capital is named after. The nation's capital is also known as the Masonic City because it has the headquarters there, because it was laid out by a Mason, because it's named after a Mason. And again, Trump will be turning 74 years old June 14th, 2020. Now, the man who finished in 15th yesterday, driving the car that was actually number 47, from his birthday to the race yesterday was his 143rd day of his age. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is 143. He drives for Mike Harmon Racing, which equals 159, like Donald Trump, like Scottish Rite. Again, this code based on the alphabetic order forwards and backwards. If you go back to Game 7 of the World Series, you'll see that the Nationals threw 159 pitches in that game. And on the same day, the Houston Rockets won with 159 points, beating the team from Washington, D.C. The World Series was Houston, Washington, D.C. The World Series was Houston versus Washington, D.C. The NBA game scheduled for the same day, Game 7, was Houston versus Washington, D.C. 159 points by the Rockets, 159 pitches by the Nationals, all synced up with Donald Trump. Donald Trump 138 with the alphabetic order, 159 with the reverse. 138 days after Trump's birthday. This is how they scripted. The driver's full name, who finished 15th yesterday, Joseph Frank Nemechek III, 115 like Masonic. And again, Mike Pence was just in South Carolina, speaking at the Citadel in Charleston, one of the oldest Masonic towns in America. And on that same day, he brought up the death of the little girl in Casey, South Carolina. That day was 115 days from Mike Pence's birthday. And if you missed my work on the death of the little girl, check it out. Not an accident. That was a ritual. Just like back in the day when they made human sacrifice for kings, same kind of stuff goes on today. And pay attention with the U.S. presidencies. The president is usually, somebody with minor experience, whereas the vice president's usually somebody who's been in Washington, D.C. for a long time. Think about it. Anyhow, Joe Nemechek. the name he goes by in NASCAR. 49 like Scottish, like Washington, like America, like Donald J. Trump. Today, the 47th day of the year, Trump's the Grand Marshal. 47th day of the year, 47 degrees on the Masonic compass out of the Scottish Rite of France. Washington, D.C. was laid out by the Scottish Rite Freemason Leon fought from France. France equals 47, by the way. So does D.C., so does government, so does authority, so does the cabal, so does White House, so does president, so does Trump, so does Republican, so does Democrat. France again. And the 47 degrees are in tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid, which has to do with making square foundations. Freemasons are builders. Historically, foundations 47. Cornerstone for Washington, D.C. laid September 18, 1793, a date with a life lesson number of 47. This nation's birthday, the 4th day of the 7th month, can be written 7-4 or 4-7. Holidays 74, Independence Day 74, George Washington's 88 and 74. History books say George Washington had 74 generals, 33 of which were Freemasons. And again, 74 big Mason number, big George Washington number, 33 out of 74 Masons, Masonry, Federal, Secrecy, Order, all 33. Remember, Washington, D.C. also sums to 137, which is the 33rd prime. So does White House, so does government. Tennessee also equals 137. Their primary's on 3-3 this year. In light of the car that won't be in the race today, that went off the road in Tennessee. And again, just happened the other day on a date with 45 numerology, January 24th, 20. Trump attended the pro-life rally 45, and that was the 47th event, the first one a president ever attended. Again, all these words 47 get used redundantly. And for all the pro-lifers out there, you know, Roe versus Wade, that decision was made January 22nd, 122, abortion 122. Again, government does everything by this code. They love to divide the people with things such as abortion. Very divisive issue. By the way, the race yesterday where the number 47 car finished in 15th, that race was at 11:30 a.m. Kind of like the date of the election upcoming, which is November 3rd, 11/3. And remember, Scottish, 113. Scottish is also 103, like impeachment inquiries 103. And remember, that began September 24th, Trump's 103rd day of his age. He didn't beat the impeachment inquiry by the numbers. Scottish is also 32 and 49, like America. And that's who founded this nation. Freemasonry is 139, America 50 states. Again, you got to know the ciphers forwards and backwards to see all the riddles. So this is the car that raced yesterday. Again, 47 is the 15th prime. It finished 15th overall. This is the 62nd Daytona event. Mason is 62, and Jewish Gematria it's 211, like the 47th prime. Tennessee, where the car went off the road, 47. Again, I'll just show you the values of Tennessee. The 137, that's the 33rd prime. And it's very interesting because there could be a political narrative here. Washington, D.C.'s 137. Government's 137. Let me spell it right. Government's 137. Authorities 137. White House is 137. And again, the Tennessee primary on 3-3. Normally, that's the 62nd day of the year, but it's a leap year this year, so it'll be the 63rd. And with regards to the man who went off the track, in light of this being the 62nd Daytona, Timothy Viens is 62, Vogt is 62. And here's the other kicker. From his birthday to the race he was supposed to be in was his 130th day of his age. Washington is 130. It was also 4 months and 7 days. 4-7. So March 3rd's not too far away. I suspect we get some news on that day that opens our eyes up further. Because remember, the elections are all rigged and scripted. They're foretold through entertainment. Just like how Donald Trump was the winner of the rigged 58th U.S. presidential selection. He announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower. He hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day. And once upon a time on Suddenly Susan, decades before the election, there was an episode that came out on May 8th, 5/8, and it was about Donald Trump as the President of the United States. And again, 58 is not an arbitrary number. Freemasonry is 58. Freemasonry comes out of the Rosicrucian order. Rosicrucian's 58. Secret Society, 58. The secrets of Freemasonry are in Solomon's Temple, 58. Hillary put out her book about why she lost the election. Not White happened. What happened is the name of her book, 58. It's also got the 50 like Donald, like America. Anyway. This is how they do it. Again, Freemasonry, they control entertainment, media, government, police. Masonry is a network of millions. Of course, it's not all Masons that are in on it, but the ones up at the top sure are. And this is how they operate. Till next time, Truth Seeker.